Let me move on to Senator Rest, who's been in office since I was 7 and you were 3.
I was 3.
Long, long time. She's a big per diem taker, and I know that's an issue that you've globbed onto, and you've made a commitment to the people here in District 45. Why don't you tell people what you stand for on that issue and what you think of Senator Rest's
Absolutely.
padding her salary a little bit,
Absolutely.
shall we say.
Well, let's give a small history on per diem. Not that I think you people aren't smart. Believe me, you are smart. But per diem works like this. During session, the members of the House of Representatives can take $79 a day. Members of the Senate can take $90 a day. And granted, this is during the session, but you're looking at, if you max out on that, you're looking at, $15,000 to $25,000 extra. Your salary as a legislator is $31,000. It's not huge, but at the same time, you're only working half the year. So you annualize that, you're looking at $62,000 a year. That's a heck of a salary. I'm sorry, it is in this economy. That's a heck of a salary. The thing about per diem is you don't physically have to be at the Capitol in order to claim it. So you could, be sick one day or not be at the Capitol one day, and boom, you got it. $99, $79, whatever, whichever side you're on. My commitment to you, to Senate District 45, to the state of Minnesota, to do my part, I'm not taking any per diem. I think it's wrong. I think that it's a cop-out, a way to increase your salary without giving yourself a pay raise. I think that, it's one of those things that, if we really want to be serious about getting the state back on track and controlling our spending and our expenses, it needs to start with government. It needs to start with us. We need to be strong enough to say that, as nice as that money would be to sit in my bank account, it's not right. It's your money. We need to, again, getting back to prioritizing spending, and the priority is not in my pocket. The priority is fixing what's wrong, and that's a good start.
$99 a day. I know people who don't make that.
Exactly.
So that's $33 a meal.
If you want to call it that.
Yeah, it must be a family outing.
I'm looking forward to having peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I'll have my 3-year-old daughter.
Brown bag.
We're gonna brown bag it. I'm gonna have my daughter help me make peanut butter and jelly before every day. And we may even make a little statement about that. We might just sit right in the middle of the floor there and eat our PBJs. So.
Oh, cool. Okay, well, let me jump into another thing, and that's something that gets a lot of attention, the Viking Stadium. I know their lease is up in a couple seasons. It's an issue that's been talked about with the Twin Stadium and the Gopher Stadium. What are your feelings, first, just generally speaking, on partially tax-funded stadiums, and about a Viking Stadium being talked about or in the future?
Sure. First off, I'm not in favor of a taxpayer-funded stadium. Whether it's partially funded or fully funded, I'm not in favor of it. You look at examples like Dallas, that was Jerry Jones' dream. He paid for it. It was $1 billion, $2 billion. It was not cheap, but that was his dream. That's his baby, and he paid for it. You look at examples like NASCAR. They own all their own tracks. Now, I'm not advocating that Major League Baseball or the National Football League own all the stadiums, but I just personally feel that if the ownership of the Vikings wants a new stadium, they should find a way to pay for it. And you can get creative with that without using taxpayer dollars. Some of the things that I've heard is a surcharge on tickets, which is kind of like a user fee, and it makes sense if you're a football fan and if you really truly want the stadium. I mean, have a bake sale. There's several different creative things that you could do to fund it. Look what Green Bay did. They issued shares of stock. I'm half tempted that if we end up footing the bill for this, I want to call it Taxpayer Stadium, and I don't care how dumb it sounds. Buy a brick for the little walkway there or something. But there should be creative ways to pay for this, and it shouldn't be to the taxpayer to pay for it.
So then you would have voted against the Twin Stadium.
Absolutely.
And everything like that.
I think what they did, they authorized it, and I think what should have happened is, and it went right to Hennepin County, I believe. I think if you at least give the voters an opportunity, not that I would vote for it, but at least if a voter had the opportunity to say, yes, I would support a tax increase to help pay for a stadium, that's a little bit different than the legislature saying, you know what, we're going to get a new stadium, and I'm going to authorize the tax increase.
Well, what do you say to the, because I mean, the proponents of a stadium say things like, well, it brings economic value and it brings people here. I mean, first off, is that really true? And second, how do you weigh those costs and benefits between that?
Sure. If you look at, you take the Twins versus the Vikings, the Twins have 81 home games. So in that respect, I can see, yeah, that does have a lot of economic impact. You look at the Vikings, they play 8 home games. So in order to really utilize and make that a true public asset, you're going to need to have concerts. You're going to need to have, and they do that, but I mean, you're going to need to have a concert like every other night there. And, it's just, I don't think it's feasible to do that.
Yeah.
So if you have to pick one or the other, not that I'm in favor of any of
Yeah.
them, but the Twins makes a lot more sense than the Vikings does.
Yeah.
And that price tag is coming in at about $900 million.
Yeah, something
That's
like
not going to be a cheap thing. So
$900 million, I'll tell you. It just bothers me when they run to the cities with their hands out. It's just, crony capitalism. One business gets money and another business can go to South Dakota.
right.
Isn't that how it works? All right, well, we've only got a couple minutes left, Nick. I want to give you a chance to look at the voters. Oh, we should mention one thing real quick. Senate District 45, by the way, maybe I should have mentioned this at the beginning. If you're not sure, it's all of New Hope, all of Crystal, all of Robbinsdale, and parts of Golden Valley and Plymouth.
Yeah, the northeast corners of both cities.
Yeah, and if you're not sure, you can go to the Secretary of State's website, see a picture of our soon-to-be unemployed Secretary of State, type in your zip code, and they'll tell you where you can vote, who represents you. Why don't you give a couple minutes and tell the audience one more time to why they should come out and vote for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, again, I've decided to jump in this ring because I think that the current legislators are steering the ship in the wrong direction. I think our taxes are too high. I think spending is unsustainable and out of control. If we're going to truly fix this economy and get people back to work, we need to implement common sense solutions such as tax, reduction in taxes. We need to, get rid of some of these roadblocks to doing business, get rid of these unnecessary regulations, and create that business-friendly environment. And we also need to cut your taxes. We need to cut my taxes so that we have more money to spend. It's just a couple of common sense solutions to really get this economy back on track. And it starts from the government. It starts from getting rid of some of that control and some of the money that they're taking from us.
Cool, and you can find out more about Nick. See that? Oh, I almost knocked it over. It's Petersen with an E. Remember that. Always remember it's with an E. I don't know why his ancestors must be a little crazy. No,
They're Danish. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. All right. Well, Nick, thanks a lot. Good luck to you. You people out here, and I grew up in this area. You get out here and vote for my friend, and have a little change in St. Paul this upcoming year. All right, that's all for now. I will see you all next week.